YouTubers, Brian Proctor back again with another video, and let's start out with this warning. This video is not going to be a short video, so I'm just letting you know now. So if you're the type like me, who I do sometimes, I'll watch the beginning of a video and I'll skip to the end of it to get to the good part, but then I miss a lot. And that's one thing I'll do in my videos, is in the midst of drawing I'll stop and then I'll talk about something else in detail. So if you're one of the types that do that in my videos, you just kind of skip to get to the good part because you don't want to see it, then you have missed a lot of good information. And in this video, it's going to be the same thing. There's going to be a lot of good information in this, and it's not going to be step one, step two, step three. I'll stop in the middle of something and talk about something else. So if you jump to the end of this video, then you've missed it. So this is how to do hair. This video is going to talk about drawing hair the best way I can. Now, there is no right or wrong way to draw hair because this is hair right here. This is hair. Now, basically, when we talk about drawing hair, 90% of the people are talking about doing a character hairstyle. The others are talking about maybe designing hair or just drawing a picture that they like and they can't figure out how to draw the hair. So I'm going to cover all that in this video, and it's going to be a long video because I'm going to slow down and I'm going to talk like a normal person during this video. So enough of that. Now that you know this is going to be a long video, let's get started. And I am going to need a pencil. Now, I have my new camera up, my new phone up and running, so hopefully it will continue to run and you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to draw big, so I'm going to use a lot of paper. So first thing in drawing hair, let's look at this. Let's look at this. This is a cake. Let's say this is a cake. And then when they're doing the cake, let's say it's a birthday cake, anniversary cake, whatever, a big cake. First thing they do is they lay down that top layer of icing, that basic layer of icing. So let's just say this is the basic layer of icing, white, whatever, chocolate, whatever. So after that, they lay down a layer of, let's say, the piping. That stuff that goes around the bottom and around the side. That's like your second layer of icing. And then they might do some flowers, your third layer. Something like that. You know, and they might even do another one that goes on the side of the cake, some little stripes that go on the side, a fourth layer. So with that in mind, we're going to do hair, but just keep this cake in mind. So in another video I did the head, where I showed you how to do the head. Because for those people who are going to do their characters, they want to do their character design and they want to design their own hair, you have to be able to do your head, let's do this, or draw that hair from every angle. If I'm going to draw whatever, Superman, and you know Superman has that little curl that comes down, you're going to have to be able to draw that curl from every angle. What does it look like from the front? What does it look like from an up shot? What does it look like from the side shot? So those of you out there who really want to do that wild haircut, let's say this is your character and you want to do some crazy, out of the way, Goku looking haircut, and you say you like that. What does that look like from the side when you draw a side view? What is that going to look like from the side? What's it going to look like from the top? And here's his ears looking down. Here's his nose. What is that going to look like from the back? Again, here's his ears. Here's his neck. So you're going to have to do that. So before you design your character and think you want to put some wild hair on it, you have to understand those angles that you have to do. So something that you have to rethink when you do your character or before you design your character. So let's do some hair. Let's look at some hair. I said I was going to slow down, so let's slow down again. Now, first of all, like that cake, let's just say you have, and I'm going to do a woman right off the bat. You have your hair. Your hair, you have that base, you have the first layer of icing, which is, let's say, your hair comes down like this. And this is just your straight hair. You have different kind of, you have the curly hair, you have your straight hair, you have wavy, kinky, whatever hair. So let's say you have your hair and it comes down off your head like this. And this is more, the Asians have that straight, long, black hair. So that's your first layer of hair. And hair is going to follow itself. So let's just do this. Maybe I should use a pencil or pen, ink pen for this. It might be better to see. So hair is going to follow itself. I should use a marker because this pen is not working too good. So we know that it's going to follow itself. Now let's say you want something else added to that. Hopefully I've got a good working pen. Come on, focus. Now, let's say you do some type of bang, thicker pen. And you just want like the bang here. Now, anytime you add something to that basic layer, or that standard layer, you need to make it on its own. So this, which I guess I should have used a pencil, let's just say, let's do this one and I'll show you. As I said, this is not going to come out 1, 2, 3. It's going to come out as it comes out. So we have that. As I say, hair is going to follow itself. It's like water. It's going to all run in the same direction unless you deliberately change it. Now you decide to put some kind of a bang like that on this character. That needs to be a separate piece altogether. Now, I had a friend who used to put models together, and he did a lot of like the anime models, and they would always have the hair in separate pieces. So if this was the model, they'd have a piece of hair here, a piece of hair there, a piece of hair there, and they were all numbered, and you would have to glue them on separately. That's how you're going to have to think about doing hair. Anything after the basic hair, the basic hair layer, you're going to have to do separately. So of course, it's going to follow that contour like that. Now, another thing right off the bat, hair does not sit flat on the head, so you would have to raise it up. Unless you decide to set it flat on the head. I mean, wet hair will, but I'm sure you're not going to draw a character with wet hair. So you're going to bring it up a little bit and then down. Hair should be a little thicker, not just flat and lifeless. So, as I say, hair is going to follow itself. And then this hair is going to follow itself because this is a separate piece. So if you did another one here, like that, that is separate from the first layer. And that hair is going to follow itself as well. Or follow the direction it goes in. Now, another thing about hair is light and shadow. So let's do this. Light and shadow. So in the anime, we're all used to seeing they do the hair and then they do the highlights like this, and the rest of it is black. And that's an easy way to get over to do, and it's okay if you're doing a small face, you can easily do that. Or your character is small in the background, you can easily get away with that. But if you're drawing a close-up face and you want it to be better detailed, you're going to have to do this. So hair follows itself, we know that. Now, when hair goes down, it's the light and shadow thing, you're going to have some shadow here, because that's going down. That's like in between the crevice, or I don't have the word for it now. The light's going to hit it here, which is going to be lighter, just like this. And then you're going to have more dark right here, because it cannot be as light as that, so it's got to be darker than that. If you understood exactly what I was saying. Now, along the side, so the light will hit here and probably here, and then you'll start to get dark here. And that's just using just a little bit of a shadow in the light, not too much. You don't have to draw every strand of hair. I've seen people that do that, do some nice pictures that drew every strand of hair, and that looks nice, but do you have time to do that? Now, also, your separate piece, you want to make that darker because there's going to be a shadow around that, and then even under this here, under that piece that hangs there. And then the same thing here, dark here, light here, and then maybe a little another shadow part right there. The same thing with this. And you're going to have shadow under the face, but that's we're getting into shadow now. That's not hair. Now, the hair is not going to come down straight like this and just in. It's going to go back around the head. And of course, that's going to be in shadow too. This will probably be black, and you might see a few strands here, but you don't want to get it too mixed up with the strands here. So anytime you have anything other than your basic layer, you want to get a little darker so that you can easily tell the separation between the two parts of hair. So right here is going to be dark, and then you can have, this can all be black depending on, you know, the layer or where it's coming from. So if I did this, and I'm doing every string like I just told you not to do, but I'm doing that for a reason. So this line and the hair behind it has to definitely be separated. Even if you add a darker shadow here and maybe some dark strands back there. We'll get into kind of that weaving thing later. And even on this, because this shape now, you've just thrown this shape, and this shape is let's say like that, you're going to get light here and dark here. So mostly drawing hair is just basically a shadow game. So you'd have to draw some light or some shadow between some of the strands. So if I did this, if this was the hair, every hair is not going to be equal like that. Some will come across, some will be tucked under. The hair is just going to go everywhere, but it's going to follow basically that same pattern. So somewhere in here you want to have the shadow from one or a few strands of hair covering some other hair. And this is getting into like close detail. But then you're still going to have your light and shadow amongst all of that. Especially under here, under the bottom, your strands could be a little darker because there's not that much light hitting the bottom. There's more light hitting the top, and then a shadow here. And instead of shading like this, you just add darker and closer strands. And then the lighter it is, the less strands you have to show. And that eliminates having to do the shading. I'm just doing shading here because it's kind of simple. It's simpler and allows you to see exactly what I'm doing. Now, even at that, when you want to do detail hair, your hair is not going to be really gelled like that so perfectly. You're going to have one or two strands that might come loose, which makes it look better and gives it a more realistic look. Even coming down the sides, you just want one or two maybe strands coming loose. Same thing on this side. You might want one or two coming loose. And then because this is darker, you want to have more strands close together going in that same direction. And then this is dark here. This is coming up. If my pen wants to write, I've got a new board that I'm writing on, and it's not really slippery as the other one, but I'm trying to have the camera focus on something so it won't jump back out of focus so much like that, because this is curving down. You have your darker strands here, and then maybe one or two that come across. Well, this one's got to come across because it separates this piece from that piece. So then I say maybe one or two that come across, and then there you have that light and shadow game. And then again, this coming down, and your hair is going to follow that. Again, also, just because it's light here, you stop. at the light point. You can have a couple strands going through because that strand, or this could be a small group of strands covering something else, some more hair that goes here. So it's going to force shadow to be right here to cover that up. So as I say, if this is my light source up in here, I can have one or two strands going across the light source. I have to keep checking my phone to make sure this thing is going to stay on. So from here, then again, I'll start my dark and then go down into my light, and then maybe here go dark again with just a few strands going up into the light. And then in here again, here's my main layer of hair. So I have to separate that. So this is going to be black pretty much. And then if I want some strands, I'll do, but because it's going in the back, it should darken out. And that also being dark back here, it makes a way for your line. It makes a line for your face to be distinguished, to show more. So if I do black back here, it shows the face, contour more, and then you do a few lines, and then you can do black to separate your first layer from your next layer. Your basic layer from anything else. As I say, when I start to speed up, then I kind of mess up because my brain is moving faster than my mouth is. And as I say, to give more of a realism, you still want to have a few strands of hair just coming off. You don't want it to look like the person just got out of bed, especially if the person is going to work or on a date. But, just one or two, strands coming out to make it look like it's not one piece of hair sitting on the head. Okay, so since one of these was going to be the back of the hair, so this was going to be the side. So in the video that I did, and I'll leave a link to the very end, I showed you about the planes of the face and where the hair would probably stop at. So this one would probably be simple to do sideways. So you'd have to determine where the hairline is here. So let's say the hairline is here. So your hair is going to come down, or this hair is going to come down like this and probably stop there. Now, at this point, and you would have to decide, okay, is my hair going to go straight back? Is it going to go up? Is it going to be higher up? That would be on you to decide, because this is your character or your design that you're doing, whether you're looking at a picture or you're doing a character. So remember, it curves in like this from the center of her head, which would probably be about, let's just say right there. So it'll curve up and down. So your strands will come and it'll curve up. Remember, following that curve. So let's just say I'll bring this at an angle and take your hair off of your head. Don't have your hair on your head, right on your head. So this would be a double like this. This would be two layers. It would be this first layer, or first side, not layer. It would be this first side here that curves down, and then the second side, because there's a part in the middle right here, and this is the height because it would come up. Hopefully you can see that. It would come up from that part, and it would go down probably about like that. Maybe not that high, not that far out front, maybe down here somewhere. But since I've got it out this far, let's just go with it. So where was I? Okay, so you have that part, and this is actually her skull. So you want to take the hair, and because this is thin hair, because I drew this to be thin hair, you want to take this off of that skull. You don't want it to sit directly on that skull like this, because it just looks too flat. So you don't want it that thin of a hair. You want to give it some body to it, so take it off just maybe a quarter inch or whatever. So it will look a little better, and you'd have some extra room to play with your hairlines. So of course you're not going to see on any of this face. The hair is going to be like that, and it's going to come down. As I said, it's going to come down. Your light source is going to be at the top of your head, not the very top, more the side top of your head, because it's going to curve down. And then maybe about right here, because on a circle, you're going to have light, depending on your light, where your light is coming from. Let's just say it's not going to be here. Let's say it's going to be here. And then because this is one of the higher or the further out, it sticks out more here. Speak English, Brian. Here and here, you're going to have a light source here and here. Same way on the other side. You know, if the light is shining this way, you won't. But, you know, just for hair's sake, you want to have a light source here and here. So that's going to be shining. And as this goes down like this, it's going to get more shadow there. So you're going to have your hair, you're going to come around, and as I say, you don't have to draw every strand, but just don't draw it into the light area. You can have one or two come through, but for the most part, you don't want to. And then, where was it? That was a light area, and this is a light area. What was that? Okay, this is going to be a light area. I'm losing it. And if you really want to, if it's like a black-haired woman, this part could be black. And then here again, your light area. And notice I'm not drawing every hair. I'm doing just a random line like that. And then, as I said, this could be black. And then your bottom, instead of having just a straight cut, which you can, it also depends on the size of the picture you're drawing. If you're drawing a comic book and the person's head is like this small, nobody's going to need to see the detail that this hair is not cut even at the bottom. But for a close-up, unless you just have a fresh cut, you just came out of the barbershop, beauty salon for women, your hair is going to not be straight across. And this is the close-up detail type drawings. And then this could be black. But if you blacken that out, you have to go from black to, shall we say, like dark gray to light gray to white. You just can't have black. Let's say if this is black here. You can't have going from black to this for hair. You have to have, I don't want to say gradation, but you have to be able to distinguish that it did go from black to dark. I don't know the words right now. Okay, so you may have just noticed that the quality on this has just changed because once again the camera overheated and cut off. So Samsung Galaxy, you suck. I'm going to be an advocator on not buying that phone. So, but this is a 6. But I went online and I checked and they said the 6, 7, 5, 6, and 7 overheat. Now I don't know about the 8 because the 8 is like what, $500, $800, a little bit too rich for Brian's blood. So for now, we're just going to use the old camera. And that's one reason why somebody commented about, oh, it was nice and you could see it was done nice and close. And the reason that particular one was close because I could see it on the monitor. But when I use this camera, I can't see what I'm doing. So I have to zoom out just in case the paper shifts up and down and then it's out of focus. So I'll have to have the image very small so I have room to move around when I draw. So what was I doing? Okay, so as I was saying, you have to, if you have solid black, it has to translate into the other color or the other shades gently. You can't have black like this, white, and then a little black. It just looks bad unless that's just a hair dye job that you enjoy, that you really wanted. So it has to go, and that's a hard thing about doing hair. It has to blend, I guess that's the word I'm saying. It flows into that shade. Same thing here. It would have to flow into that. And I'm not going to do this whole thing because that's a lot of ink, but you kind of understand what I'm saying, hopefully. And so the same thing would go for this. Or is this the light part? That's the light part. Is it? Or is this the light part? That's going to be the light part. So the same thing would go with this. That was solid black. And the light does not have to cut all the way across. Just throw that in there. And I said I wasn't going to do it, but I wanted so you can actually see. And it's not an easy thing to do when you try to do detail on hair like that. Depends on how much, or how big the picture is that you're drawing from hair. What did you just say? I don't know. I was looking backwards. Yeah, so, okay. Anyway, move on to the other piece that I was saying. I should not have blacked that. I was using red. So, if I have this piece that comes off, you have to remember that shape, which way that shape is going. So, it's coming off here, and it's going like there. So, every piece of hair, every layer, like the cake, of hair that you do, you have to know the shape. From the front, from the back, from the side, from the top, from the bottom, blah, blah. And again, light is here, so more of the darkness is down here and right here. And if this goes out of focus, I am so sorry. There's nothing I can redo again. Like that. So, of course, you have this dark right here again to separate the hair that might be coming from this direction. Like that. And then you have your strands. But you have to be able to separate one layer from the next layer. And usually by doing that, it's a dark line. So the other side would come off and curve into the face as well. And this is what I said about using shapes. You'd have to be able to break that shape down. So that shape would be, and let me just do this real quick. It would probably be up more and in. So that shape, looking at that, it would probably be something like, if I can actually draw it. I don't know if I can see it, but I can't see it. It is, I'm trying to draw from the underside. It would kind of be like that. This being the underside of the hair, and this being the back. So if you're thinking about like one shape, one piece instead of hair, it would almost be like kind of a claw. Now I have to stop every now and then to look up to make sure I'm still in focus. This thing is still in focus and you can see it. So I would say like that. So you would see the underside of that hair probably about right here. And then this part would be the outer part, this. So it would have to be a darker line here, and then your light, or your hair coming there, and then it would have to be a distinction from this part from that part. But since that's getting light, I wouldn't do too much to that. But there'd have to be that distinction from the bottom layer of your hair, or the bottom part of your hair, and the top. And then again, your extra strands that hang down. So again, I always say shapes. Look at shapes. When you do stuff, look at what shape that would be. And then this would be probably dark here, because you want to have your face contour. You want to have no mistake of that. So I would do something like this. This would be dark. Here, and then your hairline, since this is coming from the bottom, and this is also the inside of her hair, be like that. Maybe some light right there, and then dark at the bottom. And because it's turning, you have to show that it is turning, and this is there, so it's going to be a triangle somewhere right about in here. And then that's how you can also add more shadow. Whenever hair crosses over more hair, you're going to get that shadow there, and that's a good way to determine, one, it makes it look good. It determines that you do have hair crossing each other, and that's more for like wavy hair, or braids, curly hair, like that. So, and I'm getting into wavy hair now. This is hair straight, so let's just go with that. And as I say, this is going to be dark, and there really wouldn't be too much of a dark shadow here, but that was just an example. And then maybe that's light, because the light again is right here. And then this has to come out a little better as it translates out a little smoother from black to white to gray, like that. Okay, so that's a general hair something. And let's talk about character designs. And as I said before, let me check and make sure you guys can still see this before I go on to my next rant. Character design. You have your character. Before you design your character, you want to do this. You want to have a front face. You want to have a side face. And a side is just a square. Go back and look at my video, and I'll leave a link to that at the very end. So you have to go to the very end. You have your rectangle. You do your front face here, your chin, and your skull, the back, like that. So it's kind of like if you do a letter P, the letter P like that. So it's going to an open P up and down, that, and that, and you know that could be a letter P. So again, look at the shapes. Look at the shapes. You want to have your back of your head, and your head is going to be actually, you know, like that. You want to have the top of your head and some other angles. And this is character design. I'm going to do a video on detailed character design later, but you know, one at a time. So this is the top of your head. So which way do the ears go? The ears go to the back. And this is your nose here. So what was this? This was the back of your head. Wider at the top, more eggy shape. Eggy shape. So here's your ears from the back. Side of your head is your ears. And this is the front. So, what's at the top? Yeah. No, that's the back. Why does it look like the top? I don't know, Brian. You tell me. Because you did top ears. Okay, so what? Put a neck. Maybe maybe that'll make. I just right now at that point in time, it's just like, what am I doing? What is that? Okay, so there you go. That's the back of your head. It just did not look like the back of a head. There's a neck. There's a neck, and you won't get any neck here. So now, here's your character. You have your character. You said this is Bob. Okay, Bob is going to be a whatever, a galactic bounty hunter, whatever. I don't want, just a basic hairstyle on him. Whatever hair you put on him, remember I said you have to draw that over and over and over and over. You look at Goku's hairstyle. That is wild because you draw your hair and it's a crazy looking hair. However, you choose to do your crazy looking anime hair. So you draw the next picture of him in the next book. And I look at it and I'm like, that's not him. It's close, but that's not him. And then you draw him again in your next book. And then because you just scribble some hair, it's going to change. So you have to have that same hairdo over and over and over. And so, like I say, to simplify it, you have pieces and you keep up with that. Let's just say I'm going to do a half crazy hairdo on this guy. So first I want to have my basic hair. I know where my hairline is because I watched my other video. This is my hairline here. So that's where the hair is going to go on this guy. So that's my basic, or my first layer of hair is right here. This is my first layer of hair, of where the hairline goes. So now I'm just going to put, let's just say, 5 stars on this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's his hair. This is the hair that I want. So first of all, I have to take these and take them apart so I can put them together. So this is going to go, let's just say 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So that's going to go on top of his head. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I've got these 4 pieces that I have to work with. One is another piece like this. Another piece like this. And another piece like this. So I have to draw these same shapes over and over and over and over again. Now, I'm saying to myself, these are my main pieces other than what your basic, what was I calling this? Your foundation hair, your first layer. Thank you. So on the side, I have to say, okay, what is that going to look like from the side? Now I have to be able to take these pieces and turn them to the front, to the side, upside down. So if that's going to be a triangle and I turn it to the side and that's going to be at his ear, it's going to be something like this. And we're going to stick with basic shape for now. Remember, this is going to curve around. So the other one is going to be basically that triangle as well. So that's going to be higher. So it's going to be, say, like this. I don't know if you'll be able to see some of the side. The other one is higher and more tilt. So that's going to be probably like this here going around. And this one is more up. So I probably won't see too much, but that goes down to the side like that. Now, from the back, is it going to be bald from the back? Is it going to have more hair from the back? So let's just say he'll do that. Let's just say we'll have a big old triangle piece here. So that's another shape that I have to deal with, another triangle piece like that. So from the back, let's just say it goes down here. This is the point like that. Curves around. So that curves around his whole head. It's going that way. You have your front piece, which is this. Oh my God, I'm turned around. Which is that? If I flip them back around, I'm lost. Okay, I got it now. So this is going to be right here. I was lost for a second. That's going to be here. This one is going to be here, and that one does not go all the way down. This one comes up to here, and this one goes up, over, and down to a degree. With this point coming out here. And so the top, and I can't believe I'm actually being able to do this. I would never, never have a wild, crazy hairstyle for my character. I'd put a hat on him first. So if he's flipped, so this one is going to be over here again. So it's covering the ear. So it's going to be like this to a degree. And I won't put them all in a line. I'll say if this one's more forward, this one's more back, this one's more back, and this one's forward. So something like this. So this one here, like that. Put this one more back here, like that. And I'll bring this one forward. I'll bring this over a little bit more. Bring each one of them over a little bit more. And then this one is going to be, it's more of a square. If I did this up, this would be more like a monument, like the Washington Monument. And from the top, it would look like this. Now, if I angled it a little bit, it would look like, you know, this, with this being the point. So I'm going to do that Washington Monument shape. And as I said, I'll bring it up a little bit more. So this is the point here, like that, with this one in the back, with this crazy looking point in the back. It looks like, what is that puppet name with Geppetto a little bit? It Pinocchio. I don't know why he reminded me of Pinocchio, but he does. So again, bottom line, you have to think about this. Now, every time you draw this character in up shots, you know, down shots, whatever shots. So if I do like an up shot of the guy's face, he's looking up. Here's his neck, here's his shoulders, here's his nose. I'm not even going to attempt to draw that, the thing, the hair. Oh, come on, Brian, go ahead. How would that hair look if you did that up shot? Go ahead, Brian, experiment. So let's say this, 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 and this point here, and not seeing the back. Something like that. But now, how would this blend in with the front of the head? Does that point come all the way to that hairline? Does that point come all the way to that hairline? Does that point come all to the hairline? So if that does, if each one of them, the hair comes to the hairline like that, does it overlap like this? Does it come like that and then curve around? Like so. And the reason I'm doing this is to get you guys to think. Because I told the story several times about the young guy who wanted me to design his character. And I did, and he had an outlandish hairstyle. And it was kind of like, he just threw it like that. He had the face down right. You know, he knew what the face looked like. But then he just kind of like that. So I drew the character. I did the character from, you know, all sides, from the side, you know, from the back. And I sent it back to him. I emailed him and I said, draw your hair on that. Draw it what it looks like. And he couldn't do it. So I ended up kind of doing the best I could with what he gave me. And he was happy with it because he really couldn't draw. So I guess anything he would have been happy with. And that was a paid job. You know, you don't know how old people are until you really start talking to them and dealing with them. And the reason I knew that the guy was young, because I only charged him maybe like $25 to do his characters. And he sent me like a 10 or 5 and some change in an envelope. I'm surprised it got to me because it was like some quarters and some nickels and some dimes. And I'm thinking, wow, this guy's got to be young. So, and like I say, I'm surprised it actually made it. The mailman just didn't take it. But yeah, you cannot do this with hair. You have to, unless you just want to draw it over and over and over again. So you young creators, You think about this. Think about this. Let me check my camera again. And as I said, yeah, we're still good to go. I think this thing, let me stop it because this one cuts off at like 40 some minutes. And restart it again. Fear not, I will get a good camera next year, and I will have some beautifully quality edited streaming videos. Fear not. Okay, so we got that. Before you design your character, you need to do this. You need to do that. And remember, you're going to draw that every day, every day. Now, if your character is African American, if he's a black man, how do I do hair like that? Yeah, Brian, how? So, for me, I get the standard shape. You know, I find my hairline. Like so. This is my hairline. And I put out, if it's more, yeah, okay. I ain't going to say a bush. I'm not going to say a bush, but the standard black man's hair. Is round, okay? Unless you have the flat top or the flat sides, which we're not going to go there because this is not the 80s anymore. This is not Bobby Brown. So yeah, this is a brother. Like that. How would I do his hair? Now, the only thing I do to hair is with that, if I'm doing an African American hairstyle, well, number one, on the sides is going to be kind of flat. But for the rest of it, I will just do just a squiggly line like that. Not the whole thing, but just the parts where I know that there's shadow. Like I'll leave like this part of here light, but then the rest, I'll do like that. And some parts I'll leave more open for more light, but on the very front and the back, I'll make a tight squiggly line. And let me go ahead and kind of finish this. And it's no real pattern, it's just like that, but you're just doing it in a small way. Small way, just doing it small. So you have that first layer and you come back again and do the second one, and do the third one, and then where the light is actually hitting more, I'll, instead of doing it so tight, I'll open them up a little bit more like that, and then come back. If I want it a little darker, I'll come back again. If I want it a little lighter, I'll just do one, and then the next one I'll do 2 or 3 times across, and the more you go across, the darker it becomes, the tighter it becomes. So. And of course, as I say, if you're drawing a character and the character has is small, you're in the background. This guy's in the background. This guy's back behind here, and here's your main character here. And this guy, he's the black man right here. So it won't take much to do that hair. It just like that. If I don't do it all black, like I say, depends on how small the drawing is. You can leave a little light in there. But if this guy's in the back here, oh yeah, his hair is black. Just, regardless. And if this guy, then you see a little bit of little curls in this guy's hair. But I don't know if I'll try to show any light or shadow, maybe, depending on the scene. And I always say depends. And when drawing comics, that's a major word. Everything depends on something else. How much light is there in the background? How old is the character? What year is the thing? What kind of clothes is he wearing? All that stuff has that depends on it. If he's in a cave, he's not going to get a lot of light. If it's the helicopter out there and he's got a spotlight on him, he's going to get a ton of light. So I always say depends, because you cannot say this is how you do something. This is how you draw hair, period. There's no other way to do that. No, it's not. In comics, the mind is, you create what you want, number one, but it also, as I say, depends on the background, the time of the day, the year, it depends on a lot. Everything has a reason for being some way. You know, my fingernails are beat up because I dig in the yard all the time. My fingernails are nice because I have them, you know, painted, manicured every week. So there's a depends. You'll hear me saying that in all of my videos. So now you understand, hopefully you'll understand why I say depends. So there's no right way or wrong way to do a face. If I'm doing anime, then the eyes are going to be big. If I'm doing the Western style, the eyes are going to be small. If I'm doing a cartoon, the eyes are going to be black. Like that. So there is no one way to do it. So don't let anybody say, oh, your drawing sucks, you're drawing this, you're drawing that, because you're doing it your way for the reason that you're doing it, not to please somebody. I can't please everybody with my videos. You're not going to be able to please everybody with your drawings. So do what you do because you love it and you want to get it out from your heart, not because I want to try to please somebody, not because I want to try to get rich off YouTube, not because I want to do this or that, because this is something that I wanted to do. And ever since I was young, I've had so many jobs that people would say, oh, you're going to stay here, you're going to do this. And it's like, this is just a stopover on my way to becoming what I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be an artist. I'm supposed to be a teacher. And I'm realizing this now that I'm older and I can put a lot of stuff to the side. I don't have young kids running around. I have to go change diapers. I can devote 99, I ain't gonna say, but say about 85% of my time to drawing. So this is what I'm doing. So follow your heart, follow your passion. Now, let's say curly hair, curly hair, curly hair. So if I'm doing curly hair, I have no idea if it's going to be a man or a woman. Let's just say you have your hairline. You always have to have your hairline. And that would be close to that. So, and again, there's the word depends. Depends on what type of person you're doing. Is it a woman? Is it a man? Curly hair. I've really never done a character with curly hair. But let's just say a woman. And the number one thing is find reference. I say that to everybody. Get reference to something that looks close to what you want. That's the words I'm trying to say. Yeah, so find that reference and then kind of mimic that as best you can. And as I say, curly hair will never be on top of the head. And it's just waves. For me, it's just waves. You can do tight waves that kind of follow the pattern. Or you can do loose like this. Just all over, random, all over the place kind of hairstyle. But if you do, you know, waves that kind of follow each other. Well, okay, keep going since I have this. There's a lot of work to do in hair too, especially if you're doing close-up hair. With that, you're gonna have a lot of light and shadow. So every time you do this, it's gonna be dark here, and light here. So it's gonna be dark here, and light there. Same thing. So when you're doing your curls, you have to give some thought to that too. Where's the darkness? Where's the light? And so forth. But as I said, I have never really done a curly hair character. But just keep loose and open up these a little bit more and have it like your hairline. You have to go around your hairline. You don't have to necessarily stick with it, especially with a woman, but with a man, you have to stick with the hairline because a woman's hair could, you know, come down anywhere. It could go, you know, way down here. and just kind of like go over the same S, shall we say. If you're doing an S, just go over that. Move. Just go over this several times, going out more. And then for the other one, if you come there again, that circle, knowing that the dark is right there. And if it comes down again, it curves in again, knowing the dark is right here. Same thing here. Following that same curve, knowing your dark, your shadow is right here and right there. So yeah, I don't want to get into, I'm using so much ink. I don't want to get too much into the curly hair. Now the braids are something totally different. I have to look at braids when I draw braids, but I know it is, you know, and I might have to go and look at it because it is, what are you doing? It is high. It's been a minute since I drew braids. So let me reference braids and I'll show you, because I can do it, but right off the bat, I'm so used to doing this braid for the samurai sword. So yeah, that's what I'm used to doing. So, but the braids are pretty much like that, but kind of different. So let me reference that real quick, because at this point, yeah, I don't want to mess you guys up. All right, so let's do this. Remember where my paper was so I don't move it out of focus too much. So braids, let's say I'll do a big picture, and then this, and then whatever, this going down. Make her hair look good, Brian. So braids, I know there's a center line. This might get edited because I didn't have a daughter, so I don't know. And then each one, there is a square for each one. Knowing that your braids are not going to come straight down on your character constantly. There's going to be some motion to that, and I keep wanting to do the whole samurai thing to that hair. It's not going to stay flat. It's going to turn and move, and that center line is not going to stay in the center all the time. So you're going to have to be able to do that. So right away, rectangles right off the bat, and there are tighter braids, and there are looser braids, and there are round braids, and let's keep going. And I guess as you go up, there's going to be more looser. So the thing is not to put it right. It's kind of like doing bricks. If you do a brick wall, the next set of bricks are going to be in the center of this line here, and the next set is going to follow that. So you do one here. It's going to follow this line here. So it's basically center of the brick, center of the brick. So it's going to be like that with the hairline. Where is that next one? Center here, center there, and it's just rectangles. And you got to conform with it, center here, and it rounds off. It's not going to be square. Where is it? Right here. So it's center here, center here, center there. And as I said, because your hair is twisted and round, it's going to round off as well. Center, center, which is best to show that your hair is round. Center, center, like that. And I guess as you go, the hair tucks down, tucks down, tucks down. And we'll get into a flowing hairstyle in a minute. But then they have the ones that are actually like the S style now. And I guess you just keep doing that. It curves in. It's like almost like a chain, and you just keep doing that S. Okay, I guess first of all you have to find your direction, and then put that S around it. And there's probably a little bit more to that, really. Maybe I'm going in the wrong direction. It just looks weird. Let's try the opposite direction. I guess it can go in any direction, but I don't know. Let's just, for the sake of me. Like I said, I've never had a daughter, so I didn't have to worry about hairstyles, but I know they do have a round one that kind of just twists around, and I guess I have to follow through. Goes around like that, and then around again, so maybe it's up and down. But this is the basic gist, the basic start, the basic idea of that one. But then they have a round, there's another one that goes in and out kind of pattern, in and out, and then you have almost like a chain, I guess. Let's just do this. Let's see if we can do this. In and out, around, and out, and in, and out. It's weird. This is why I don't do too many female characters. If I do, they have regular straight hair. In and out. So that one comes in and out. So this one will have to curve around. So this one would come up like that. So this one would come over the front. This will come over the front and behind. This will come over the front and behind. And that one, I just lost that one completely. Behind, front, behind, front, behind. Front, front, behind. Yeah, you'd have to work on that one, but as I say, that's just the basic gist, and you know the hair is going to actually follow that curve. Like that. And again, it's a light and shadow thing. So let's do this. Make it a little tighter. So of course, you know that it's going to be dark here. Coming out from under there. It's going to be dark here. Coming out from under there. Maybe dark here. And just a few strands, leaving a light source, so it's dark. So if it was dark here, coming out, dark here. Dark here. And actually you can have it black too, coming out from, to distinguish one from the other. This one will be black and coming out, and this one will have more light because it's on top. So let me double check this camera and make sure you are getting this good knowledge. And it would be the same thing with this. You have your squares. And then you have your coming from the center. Remember to curve them around, and then you would have your lines. And then just dark right here coming out. And then dark on the edge. Same thing with this side, dark, dark. And again, that depends on how big you draw it, and then I would just have a solid black to separate the two sides of the hair. And see, the light could be all on this edge, so you won't have to really do too much of that edge, but I would have that black line, solid black, to separate the two. Maybe solid black in between each set, so that you know it's separated. Round it off, or round off the edges, and then, and as I say, depending on how small the hair or the drawing is, you don't want to get too much. You don't want to have too many lines, or you won't need too many lines if it is small. So what else was I going to say? Let's see if I can do like a quick punk hairline. And I don't know what this little piece, why this little piece of hair comes out from the ear. I don't know why God designed this like that. Why couldn't it be just straight back like that? But I think everybody has this little piece that comes out. I don't know what that was for. I don't know. So usually the punks have hair that just goes everywhere. Usually here's your head, here's your actual skull. It's not going to go too far off of the skull area, so it's not going to be like way up here and then go crazy. It's just going to stay and go crazy. And I would just kind of have like, well, you can have the spikes. That's one thing. And then just draw your lines in the spikes. And what's left could be, let's just do a couple more spikes. What's left could be just flat on the head, or it could be shaved. So if it, like that. And then hair, usually if I'm doing hair, I don't continue to go one way. If I want it to be wild, I'll bring some in. And that way you get different directions. Depends. Now that's more the grassy type hair, but if I'm sticking with the punk type, I have a few strands come out, but I think it is, what is it, hold? They put the hold on there, so it's going to stay holding. And then either the rest is either shaved or it's very, very low. And since I'm on that, to do a low hair, and what was I going to do? A low hair and kind of grassy type hair. So if I did a character here, hairline, if I'm doing low hair, usually I'll just do either the dots for shaved, his head has been shaved, or I'll do just really low lines. Let's see, drew an ear and his hairline here, because this is the only way you're going to see if I draw it right. If I draw it right. And that takes a long time to do, just to draw the little bit of almost shave. Like these guys go to the army and then they get the shaved hair, and then like a day or so later, it starts to grow back. You have these small lines, and that's just doing small lines like that. That's all. Just you're doing a lot of them, like so, to give it that look like Wolverine's chest. He has that hair. If you have a hairy arm, and how do I make a fist? I don't know right now. How do I make a fist? Like that. And the guy's got the hairy arm. You just these little hairlines like that. And you do it off the arm as well. And that makes your character hairy, and you can do longer ones like that. But doing hair is just small. And you kind of have to stay, if your hairline is going around here, you have to stay on your hairline and not go too high up. You can't have some hair longer than the other if it's like a shave and it's just growing back. Each line has to be like the same length, as good as best as you can. You can't have one line up here, another line up here, and the rest of it small. It just throws it off. It's like maybe they missed a hair, or the guy's hair is crazy. And that takes a long time to do. But as I say, it depends on what type of picture you're doing. If you're doing just a detailed picture, maybe you're doing a picture of a family member or something, or maybe you like one of rock stars and you just want to do a portrait of that person. He's got short hair. You would do it like that. Now on the other side, if it was shaved hair, you just do dots. I mean, if it's really close, shave, I would just do the dots. Surratt, that's the guy that started doing the painting with dots. I don't know if that was his last name. I think it was his last name. I don't know his first name. Might have been Harvey Surratt. And I'm sure you've seen, if you've been in the art enough, you've seen pictures where people just use dots. I did a few pictures like that, and let me tell you, that hurts your wrist. It takes a long time to do it. The secret is, and I'll keep going with this as best I can, and then I'll show you the secret to that. But for a shaved head, it's just do the dots. Don't come off the head. Go around the head. Don't come over it. Stay below that line, the skull line. It's just a bunch of dots. Now, to darken that, if you want to darken that and lighten it, it's the same thing. You just do more dots. Just do more dots around the edge where it wants to be darker. Say like if I do the sideburns. Told you this was going to be a long video. I could do a part 2, but I'm not going to do a part 2 because for some reason part 2s don't really make it. A lot of people don't go to part 2s. They're like, oh, I got enough on part 1. Unless it's a cliffhanger. And how can you do a drawing cliffhanger? So as you see, just by adding more dots, it'll get darker around the side. If you just want the low level kind of haircut, you do that. Now, if this guy had like a flat front, I would bring the straight up more like that, and then up like that. But I would leave this line here, just imaginary line there, and I would bring his hair around like that. I would stop my hair at that line here, going around, and then I would continue with hair like this, just a little bit longer. So that gives him, if I did a side view of a person, here's his nose, his mouth, his eye. So if I did a side view and I had the hair would come up like this. So it would be like that. Remember this invisible line where it stops at, because that's where it would cut, and then the rest would be flat. So that's how I would do that, and then just as it goes to the side, it would become smaller or shorter and shorter. So what else? I don't know. Let's just do a hairstyle. I think that you should have it by now, and I'll just do a quick hair. So if you're just drawing somebody and you just want like flowing hair, so this is, let's just say this is a woman's face. And I usually do it, when I do a woman, I'll do a pointy chin like that and give a man a square chin. So this is her hairline. Okay, so as you see the quality change, my Samsung 6 has come back to life. It is not hot anymore, it's cool. So I have a few minutes of coolness from it to finish this last drawing. And as I said, this is the difference between the quality of this camera and the other camera, and I can zoom in so I can see what I'm doing. So let's just say you just random doing your hair. And this is like a woman's hair. This is just, it's kind of like made up, like most people do with hairstyles nowadays. Maybe that might be a little too high. That's like a Cher hairdo back in the day. So hair basically is just a light game, a light and shadow game. So neck, shoulders. So let's just say this is what I want. I want this just crazy little hairstyle like that. So at this point, I would say to myself, my glasses are so dirty. I wouldn't say that, but yeah, they're dirty. I would say, where's my hairline? Let's just say my hairline is going to be like right here. This is my hairline. So everything comes off of this hairline right here. So I'm looking at what I have here. This shape is going to go higher. So I want to connect some more pieces to that shape. It's going to go high here. So I want to go, some pieces are going to flow into that shape. And think about water. It's going to flow into that shape here. So I might be able to cut that off, and then I'll bring these pieces here. And because of that, so I'm going to have an underside of this. So this is going to be my main coat right here, my main layer here. The main layers have to be darker. I have an undercoat here. So this is shaping that way, so I'm going to have to bring some out this way. And these are going to intersect somehow right here. So there's going to be that V, which is going to be darker there. Now, I've got this piece here that goes there. Got this here, and I'll chop some of that hair off of the top. This comes out and around. We're going to have a light source here. Say maybe about there. So this is a separate piece from this. This is going to be another piece here. It's not going to come over here, so this is going to be darker. So it's going to come off of here, and then everything's not going to follow this because everything is not going to poof out this way. So as I come down, I want to make it a little more straight. So it gets straight as it comes down. We have this. This is a V here. This is two hairs intersecting. So this one is going to be the dominant one here. We're going to have hair under here. So let's just say it's going to be its own and come around there. And then of course we're going to have hair in the back, which could be black. Now let's see what kind of a mess I have made. Picking out my major hair would be, say, like this. Actually, that was not the major one, but that's okay. And we're going to have my underside here. This is going to be one major piece here, so that's going to be darker. It's going to curve up over here. So it's all going to come off of this here, like that. Some are going to go around like this, and some are going to come down off of here. And as we get out, it's going to curve around more. Say this is going to be the main body. We have my intersection piece here. And right now I'm singling out the pieces that are going different directions. These are my main ones that are going because they're going to be darker. And I haven't worked with this, so let's say this one. Let's get another one for this one. This is going to be straight. this one. We're going to have one going this way. Turn this here. So that's going to intersect with that. And then we're going to have this. We're going to have that, and maybe that. So those are going to be my main pieces, the main pieces that I'm going to work with. This is going to attract the light and shadow. So under here is going to be dark. The main piece is going to be dark as well, but you're going to have, this is going to be the darkest piece, the part that actually, what's the word I'm trying to say? The main pieces are going to be darker. And as I say, it's just a light and shadow game. So from there, I have my dark to light. Which is going to be dark underneath. And I'm not drawing every hair. Light here, dark here. So we're going to have another dark, but it's not going to be as dark as this main piece here. To light, and my pen is not wanting to work. Dark here. And this is going in a different direction, so that's easy to tell. Maybe a few strands through the light. Coming off of here is going to be dark and around, because this is under that hair, so it's going to be dark. If my pen would work a little better. Let's see if I can switch real quick. I said there was a lot of ink. Let's try the number 3. I think all of the ones I've been using lately are dying on me. I've just been too cheap to open up a new pack. Nope, that's dying too. What do I have in the pack? I have one left in the pack. And that is a 5. Let's see if I can work with that one. That should still be new. Yeah. Coming around, not drawing every hair. Usually in a twist, it's going to get darker. Not drawing every hair. Up again. You have some darker and some lighter areas. Like under here, it would be dark. Just start bringing the hair out. Not every hair again. Dark, and I'm rushing because this camera, I don't know when it's going to cut off or not. It usually gives me like 17 minutes or so. This coming up here. Coming off all the way, because it differs between this one and this one. Curve. And you can do too much to hair. You can go too crazy, and I'll show you on the light other side. You can get too many lines and then your hair is screwed up. And that's another reason why I'm not really a big hair person, because you want to try, me personally, I want to try to get it to where, number one, I like it, two is where I have enough lines that I'm happy, and again, going back to where I like it. So that's going to be under there. You get your more lines here, and this paper is not sliding like I want it to. So dark here. Here's my light here, so I'm not going to put too many lines there. Going back to dark. Remember, this one is one of the main bodies, so that has to be dark. Coming around, you have your light and your dark. And I'm rushing again. And this is, if you're doing something like that, you have to be loose like this, but when I start getting loose, I end up doing too many hairlines. And this can be dark back here, but it's still good if you have some kind of shape to the darkness. And then come back. And then darken the part that you know you need to be darker, the main body. And that's the neck, so that can be actually all black if you chose. It doesn't have to be. Now, when I'm saying too many lines, or yeah, like this one, I would say if this was a one-time drawing, it's fine, but if I have to recreate this again, that's too many lines. So over here, you have you find your main lines, and you don't have to do so many lines. And that could be a blonde, that's a brunette. So if this was, I'm not even gonna say a blonde, I'm just gonna say not using so many lines. I'll use a few lines to tell like where the hair is going. And then basically, since this is the main line, like that, I'll stop using more lines on the edge and fewer lines in the middle to show the light. So if I was going to show the edge of this, I have a few lines here, not much in the middle, and just a few lines there, a few lines on the edge, not too much in the middle. And then same here, not too many lines, maybe because this is dark, but that would be about it. Maybe a little something up here because it looks kind of naked. There's a few lines up here, 1 or 2 lines to give it that kind of look. And then you can twist his hair as much as you want, bring it down, and just, you know, remembering your shadow. But the best thing is reference, and I'll say that again and again and again. Reference, find reference, and then it doesn't have to be the exact hairstyle you want, but get something that's close, practice, look at it, practice drawing it, and then incorporate it into what you are trying to do. So I'm thinking that's going to be it with hair. There's probably a lot of other stuff out there, but I know this video is over an hour now, and camera trouble and blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, you can have some, because it always looks good when they have a few strands of hair, you know, hanging down. And then, you know, keep it tight at the top. And I always do an ending to my video, and then I'll keep going, because that's just me. So anyway, that's it for this video. I hope that you guys did learn something. I'm sure you did if you stayed with it all the way, and you see what the difference between the cameras. What I'm saying about the cameras, I'm going to go ahead and get a real camera for you guys and for me, so I don't have so much headache. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up if you did. If you want any more, if you have some suggestions or something you want me to draw, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Tell the world so I can go on and get my camera. Yeah, run out, tell your neighbors and your friends and everybody to check out my channel. I would appreciate that. So, on that note, I'm out. See you guys in the next video.